Welcome to Real Time, Florida Sportsman. This week we're in Yankeetown at the Isaac Walton Lodge and we're trolling for grouper. It's time to find the shortest route to the hottest bite. We scan the Florida Sportsman community looking for the best fishing reports and travel to make Real Anglers our local guides. Give me some of that! Together we let you in on secret spots and hometown moves. That's what I'm talking about!
Oh yeah, she's done for now.
This week we're fishing with Scott McBride, aka Fish's Man, out of Yankeetown in the Big Bend section of the Florida Sportsman Forum. This area is known for its grouper fishing and we're trolling Yo-Zuri plugs. Oh, look at the head on that thing coming up.
That's a beast.
God.
Nice grouper.
Look at that thing. All coming up on Real Time, Florida Sportsman. Our plan was to meet up with Scott at First Light at Yankeetown Marina. We're going to launch the Triton in the Withlacoochee River, head out about 15 miles and get on some good grouper bottom that he has. Nice cool morning. Yankeetown, Big Bend region of the Florida Sportsman Forum.
Yes, sir.
Scott McBride. What was your forum name again?
Fish's Man.
Fish's Man. I've been seeing it on your post. You've been killing the grouper. And it's December 1st. We have a couple days left open of gag grouper season, so we're gonna definitely try to get some table fare.
Yes,
Riverside Inn where we're staying, they promised us they will cook us a dinner we won't forget if we bring them back some fresh grouper.
Very nice.
So we got a task ahead of us. And you can see right here the limestone that we're gonna be looking for. That's pretty impressive. It's just that hard bottom and it just orient to that hard bottom.
Yes, those fish they're all about that structure. They like the nooks and crannies. Notice in that lime rock, there's a lot of voids, cavities, a lot of places for fish to hide, a lot of food. So that's what they orient themselves on. So if we can get those big plugs over top of that stuff, I think we'll see some good action today.
This is fun. We'll see if we can let them try to yank the rods out of the rod holders.
They try hard.
Heading out to the mouth of the Gulf, you can see the beauty of this area. Now this is old Florida. Old cypress trees, old moss oak trees, and you can see these limestone outcroppings, and this is exactly what the fish are holding on offshore. All right, so a 15-mile run, let's point it west. Let's go.
Let's do it.
So it was a 15-mile run out to the first spot, and it wasn't a bad run at all. We had a following sea, maybe a 10-mile east wind. So the further offshore you were going to get, the rougher it was going to get. But fortunately, we were staying rather close today, so we should have some pretty good conditions for what we want to do. So pretty easy fishing, 15, 20 feet of water, deep lip plugs. We're trolling them on these new fathoms. Braid's important, right? Cut through the water, get them down deeper.
It does. It makes it. You can probably get another 5 to 10 feet of depth out of these plugs. These are I think we got on 120 right now, 130 footer, and we're gonna see what works.
So pretty simple. I got 80-pound braid on here, spider wire 80-pound, a section of 60-pound fluorocarbon leader. We're just gonna troll over these spots that we marked. So these are just little rock outcroppings that we're looking for. We motored around a little bit, we kind of figured out where we wanted to be, what the current was doing, and then we got rigged up and ready to troll.
So if we can try to get the boat up current of the structure, try to probably go in with the waves, I think we end up getting more hits that way.
Okay.
It's a lot more natural presentation, I think, when you do that way. You actually get the fish, you get that bait running from the fish.
Okay.
Fish tend to orient themselves into the structure, so.
All right, well, let's get these out. How far back do we want these?
Pretty far, a couple hundred feet. If you're not bumping occasionally, you're probably not doing it right. You want it close. If you can keep it within several feet of the bottom, that's wonderful. We like to keep the boat speed between 4 and 5 miles an hour. My favorite's right around 4.5.
So we're just trolling over rock piles, limestone rock piles? That's all this is?
That's all it is. We're looking for limestone outcrops down here, and boat just passed over the first one, so let's hope we see some action here in a second.
So it takes a little bit to get everything dialed in. Every plug's gonna swim differently, every boat tracks differently, moves through the water differently, and it took us a little bit. Soon what we discovered was we had to go a little bit slower. We're going too fast, and these plugs were riding up in the water column, and really what you want is these things digging on the bottom. Every now and then you want to see that plug bouncing on the bottom, because you want these groupers to come out of those rocks and hit onto these plugs. So once we got it dialed in, we had the plugs at the level we wanted them to be, we knew it wouldn't take long, we were gonna get a bite. There's one.
There we go. All right, don't put it neutral. All right.
Went over the top of that rock pile. Oh, this thing just got hammered. He's coming up, isn't he?
It's moving.
He's right there on top. Solid fight, man. Wow. As soon as you slowed down, I felt that plug dig down. It hit the bottom, and then as soon as it did, it was over with. Look at the size of that fish.
Yeah, nice grouper. Very nice grouper.
Got him foul hooked now. You can see him diving back down there.
He's waking up now. He saw the boat.
Woohoo!
Yeah, there we go. First meat of the day.
That's a full-grown grouper right there. Wow, what a fish. Wow. Look at that, man. He came up and swatted at that thing.
Nice, very nice, very nice.
Look at that. We got over that rock pile. He said, be ready, and I was. Man, he came up and hammered it. That's a perfect size. That's the size you've been getting?
Yeah, that's you know, we've been getting them a little bigger than that. That one's probably pushing 30 inches right now. That's a good fish. We'll get them a little bigger than that. Hopefully we'll get a couple of them bigger than that today.
This one's going on ice. He's going to the Yeti.
Let's eat him tonight.
This segment is brought to you by Triton Boats by Earl Bentz. We take America fishing.
This isn't my first time doing this type of fishing. You know, I've trolled for grouper before, and this is a great way to target them. But you know, in the past, you had to weed through a lot of smaller fish, and I tell you, these are big grouper. I was holding onto that rod when that thing came up and hit.
You think you got the bottom.
I thought I had the world. Thought I had me a piece of Florida. I had me a piece of grouper. And I guess it really matters too, the diameter of the braid that you're using. The heavier braid obviously is gonna, you know, not cut through the water as well and run them a little higher. What size braid do you usually use?
I typically use either 50 or 60 pound braid. I think today we're actually running, there we go. Fish on, oh, may have bumped bottom.
Oh, maybe a fish loaded up on it?
It's
There,
unbelievable.
fish.
There we go.
Can't even get out of the rod holder.
Ah. Yeah, there we go. That's a good fish.
These strikes are absolutely incredible. I mean, you're just trolling along and that thing comes up out of that hole and just hammers the plug. About doubles the rod over. You better bring some tackle out here.
It's unbelievable how powerful these fish are and what it takes to get them out of those holes. I mean, if you immediately pop the gear the boat out of gear when you go over these rocks,
Yeah, you're gonna
half
lose
the time they'll run you right back down into the structure. I think it stuns them just a little bit when you first hit them. It's actually a good idea to keep the boat in gear, actually drag them a little ways away from the structure. You'll land a lot more fish, and it's not unusual at all to end up with doubles that way.
Well, this one looked like it got popped. Then
Yeah, I
we were
think it
looking
did.
at it and that one doubled over.
It either bumped the top of the structure or
Yeah.
we had a second hit, which is ideal. You really want these plugs to be bumping structure. If you're not bumping structure occasionally, you're not doing it right.
You're gonna lose some plugs every now and
It
then,
is.
but
It can be an expensive hobby.
you gotta sacrifice them.
There we go.
Oh my God!
There
Where's
we
that
go.
lift gaff? Oh my goodness, that is a stud. Oh my God. Oh,
Nice.
Jesus! 15 miles outside of Yankeetown. I tell you, the East Coast, we have grouper fishing, but we don't have the bottom that you guys have over here. You have
No.
such a vast amount of that bottom that holds these fish.
This one fish will fill up a gallon bag of fillets.
Well, I bought a couple gallon bags, so let's put them in the Yeti.
Nice.
Now this is a full-grown grouper. East Coast, West Coast, I don't care. This is a quality fish. This is a grouper gag over 30 inches. I wasn't expecting this kind of quality. I packed the 160 Yeti for this trip. I thought I was being safe bringing that. I can barely get these fish into this cooler. You know, we got that one off the rocks a little bit. We had pushed away and then it got bit.
Absolutely. I think sometimes they actually chase the plug for a bit before they'll hit it. I mean, you remember these things are moving, almost 4 miles an hour. And they're having to come off the bottom to actually get to it.
And you think the presentation as well, which way you head, up current, down current, can have something to do with it as well?
I really like traveling with the current. I think if those plugs go over their head, it actually appears to be a bait fish running from them. So that, you know, it kicks in that predatory instinct. I think there's days we come out here and you can catch grouper after grouper doing what we're doing today. You can drop a live bait down or dead bait down, some kind of natural bait, and you want to get ahead. But they can't stand those plugs running over their heads. So it's, you know, that was the case a couple weeks ago.
Is this better at a certain time of the year? Is this fishery a certain time of the year? Or is this year round?
This is pretty much a winter fishery. These gag grouper, they're here year round. I've dove on these rocks enough over the years to know these fish live on these rocks year round. I often hear the locals say, oh, the fish migrate out to deeper water. I don't think that's the case at all. It's just very difficult to compete with all the natural bait that's out here during the summer.
Oh, I see.
These same rock piles are just loaded with bait. And when you cut these grouper open at the end of the day, they're stuffed with that bait. It's very difficult to compete with that natural bait.
Grouper are heavily regulated fish. You know, and you really have to pay attention to when the season's open and closed. We had a couple days left of this season. We were fishing in federal waters, and actually the federal waters and state waters, they can differ. So you have to really check the internet, see what the local regulations are, you know, when the seasons are open and closed. But we were allowed 2 fish per person, and the size limit is 22 inches.
All right.
Another one on. We weren't even to the pile yet. The smaller fish.
Not as big as the ones we got before, but we'll take him. So I really think that one of the keys to the success we're having today catching these fish is we're on small, isolated rock piles. These are, you can come out here on a Saturday, you're not gonna see 20 boats anchored up on these rocks. They're small. This is just stuff I happened to find. I was coming in from further offshore one day. We happened to notice some small rocks in the area, and we marked them. That was back in the warmer months. Now we come out here in the winter time and we're taking advantage of the grouper being more active in the cooler months.
And look at that.
There you go, just a baby.
They call that a baby over here. Most people will be happy to get that one.
Actually, that's probably right at the limit.
I say we let him go.
I think we can do better. Cool.
Let him go. We're right on top of the rock pile right now.
This segment is brought to you by Eagle Claw Trocar, the sharpest fish hooks in the world.
So how long have you been fishing this area?
I started over fishing the Gulf Coast. I grew up in the Ocala area, did a lot of freshwater fishing as I was growing up, but in my high school years I had a buddy that started bringing me over to the Homosassa area, started doing a lot of inshore fishing, and caught a lot of trout, caught a lot of redfish, really fell in love with that area. My wife and I, that's what we did all throughout our dating years. We spent many a weekend over here fishing the flats. But here the last few years, I've had buddies that, I had one buddy in particular that really got into the cobia fishing. I started going with him, and the offshore bug bit.
Yeah, it gets addicting.
It really does. You come out here, you never know what you're gonna find. You gotta be prepared for anything. It can be grouper, it can be cobia, it can be kingfish. You never know. We don't have a lot of dolphin in this area, but even those things will surprise you every now and then. We've caught dolphin out here in less than 20 miles out.
Wow.
But it's a great area. You know, God, back during the summer months, we had huge tiger sharks, hammerheads, 12-foot sharks circling the boat while we're grouper fishing. So it's, I love the wildlife out here.
And you're a geologist.
I'm a hydrologist.
Hydrologist.
I am.
There's a difference.
So yeah, I like the water. Made a career out of it.
I can't even describe to you how hard these fish hit. Now you gotta think, this plug is coming along, like when you're trolling along typically for a pelagic, you're moving, the fish is moving with you behind it, he hits, and a lot of times he's coming the same direction. You gotta think, this grouper is coming off of the bottom, hitting that trolled plug and trying to immediately go back down into that same hole. 80 pounds of braid, no stretch on the line, drags locked down. I was holding onto that rod a couple times. When it got hit, it about yanked me out of the boat.
Drinking bottom there? Bumping bottom?
Yep.
Uh-oh, come on.
There he is.
There he is.
God, I was digging bottom and I thought about maybe I should get it off the bottom. Keep it going. That's a better fish. I just want to keep tension on him. Definitely a better fish. I was bumping bottom. You saw me, I took a crank on it. thinking maybe I was just too close to the bottom.
Sometimes they can't stand it. I don't know if that plug bumping the bottom, dredging up, making noise. I don't know, there's something about it. But like we said earlier, if you're not bumping bottom, you're not doing it right.
I don't know if
It
I
definitely
foul
makes
hooked him again.
Yeah, you got that one foul hooked. That's a good fish though. Look at that fat tail.
Oh, you want to get the other one up? Look at the head on that thing coming up.
That's a beast.
And they get foul hooked up in all those hooks. They come up and they just can't resist hitting that plug. That was incredible. I mean, I was just feeling the bottom. I could almost feel that fan coral that you're talking about. And bam! Woohoo! There's another keeper here for sure.
Oh yeah, that's a good fish. Nice.
Wow.
The big trebles are doing their job.
But it's getting it done. That's for sure. It's just a solid fish. Bouncing the bottom with that plug. That thing was digging the bottom and he just came up and hammered it. Missouri's getting it done.
They certainly are.
Man,
Liking that orange and gold.
that's a good eating fish right there. 2 per person.
One more to go.
We're almost there. Let's get this one back on ice on the Yeti.
This segment brought to you by Wiley X, absolute premium protection.
In today's seminar, I'm going to talk to you about line, and specifically braided line, and that's all we're using today. I'm going to tell you why and the advantages of it. You know, out here trolling for grouper, this is a 60-pound braid. It has a thinner diameter than monofilament. If I were to come out here with monofilament and try to cut through the water at a trolling speed, this lure would probably only swim at half the depth that is going with this braided line. Another great advantage about this braided line, it has 0 stretch. Meaning if I'm trolling along 4 or 5 miles an hour, that grouper comes up out of the hole, grabs a hold of this lure. You know, as the boat's still going forward, there's gonna be no stretch. We're gonna pull them away from the hole and we have better success at landing the fish. And now don't get me wrong, monofilament has its place, but in this situation, when we're out here trolling for grouper, trying to pull them out of this heavy structure, we're looking for no stretch, thin diameter, braided line is definitely the key. You know, it took us a little bit to figure these plugs out. It seems like slower is better. There's fish right there we're marking. You think the faster you go, the deeper they go, but it's not the case. We slowed down and got these plugs to really dig. That's when we started getting the bites.
About 4 miles an hour. If you go much more than that, they actually come up shallower. And you don't get close enough to the structure. You don't end up with nearly as many strikes as if you...
Yeah, look at us marking some good fish.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, another pile.
Now we're catching gags today. Do you ever catch reds doing this?
Once in a blue moon. It's
not
not an
aggressive?
everyday thing. No, they don't go for the diving plugs. Actually, the guys I know that are pretty good at catching red grouper like to use downriggers and grubs with a heavy lead head. For some reason, they tend to prefer that over the swim baits. Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, double
Oh,
header.
double.
Still there?
Oh, no, that's a fish. That's a fish. Oh, that's a good one. That's a damn good one.
Yeah, that one got whacked. This one just got hit and missed it.
I'm not even getting any line on this guy yet. Man, this thing is just weight.
Solid, huh?
Yeah, this is a solid fish. He's coming up.
Whoa! Oh my God, 24 feet of water, Yankee Town in the Big Bend section of the Florida Sportsman Forum. Scott, I'll tell you what, man, those Yozuris did the trick today.
They most certainly did.
Quality fish. You know, it's not even noon yet. It's
10:30, we were done with a lemon grouper.
limited grouper.
Quality fish, every one of them.
Beginning of December, I'll tell you what, Riverside Inn said they're gonna cook this up for us.
I'm ready for dinner.
God.
Taste it now.
What an incredible fishery.
Nothing finer than grouper fresh out of the Gulf.
We're
Eating
gonna
the
try
same
it.
day it's caught, you're gonna love it.
Sweet. Real time, baby. That's what it's about. Yes. You know it's been a good day when you gotta move the ice around in the Yeti to fit the fish.
I've had worse problems.
Good job, man.
All right, man.
Wow. Woo! We headed in early, got cleaned up, and it gave me an opportunity to really kind of explore Yankeetown. This town is really small, 660 residents. You know, undeveloped, hopefully never gets developed. Everybody knows everybody. This is what Old Florida's all about. We had the most fantastic hosts at Riverside Inn. You know, this is an old building, the Isaac Walton Lodge. You know, it has a lot of history. This place had burned down at one point, was rebuilt. It's a great place to stay right on the water, you know, and our plan was for them to cook our catch. Our perfect day ended by just a night of telling fish stories, a wonderful grouper meal, you know, adult beverage, and just having a good time hanging out with good people. This is my first trip to Yankeetown, and it was a wonderful experience. Absolutely incredible fishing, that small town feel that you can only get in this section of Florida, a great co-host, and our accommodations at Riverside Inn were first class. I discovered Yankeetown through seeing Scott's post on the Florida Sportsman Forum, and I recommend this as a location for everybody to travel to. And there are tons of other fisheries and destinations for people to discover on the Florida Sportsman community.